at you in our shirt.
I know we were just talking about. I was like, I wonder if I should do. Is this gonna be like the band wearing the band shirt to the gig faux pas? But I was like, I gotta do it.
Honored. Thank you so much.
I gotta say, when and I don't even know if this is gonna lead to a question, but the very first time I met you guys, I guess it was around like 2017. That day that you came to the station, specifically that day, I do remember. It was just one of those days where like everybody was kind of having like a really stressful time during the day, and then you guys came in like I think it was like the afternoon or around lunchtime. There's this like positive vibe about you guys. You came in and you set up in my office and you played Take It Back, and after you guys left, I remember like it, for whatever reason, everybody was in a bit of a more chipper mood. They probably also saw like this impromptu concert happening in the music hut, and people kind of started gathering in the hall. So I did remember seeing a quote from Sally about trying your best to move forward with positivity, especially like right now, despite kind of like us being in dark times. Is that, I guess, something that's like motivated you or kind of been sort of a mantra for you? Or
yeah, I was just about to say it's kind of a mantra, 100%. I think the more I think about what has gotten me to where I am and where we are today, like I swear I thought about this the other day, is like delusional positivity.
Yeah.
Like not in a way that's like negative at all. That we just have so much hope and care and belief in ourselves that I think you have to believe in yourself for anyone else to really believe you. Mm-hmm. And so I think we try to emanate that, and we see the love come back, and we hope that we can inspire. You can't make someone be inspired, but we hope that we can just give off that energy to tell them like, yo, we're doing it. Like we're anybody's and we can do this. Like you can do this too, I promise. So I hope we can give that off for sure.
Yeah, everybody has sort of their own issues that they're dealing with, especially in the midst of a global pandemic, isolation, all depression, everything like that. And it's almost that thing that I see from you guys is sort of like leading by example. No matter what, you'll be that sort of that bright spot, and then that I find has rubbed off on people, which is a great thing. And it's always something that I remembered ever since meeting you guys, and it was like, oh yeah, that's that band that made us all smile that day.
That's so nice to hear, man.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
Just to have that said to us also means so much. Like we can't try to do that to people, so to hear that feedback, like thank you.
Can we talk about Daytona Bleach and where that looks nice. Where does the title come from?
So I grew up in Florida. Like I spent a lot of time there. And so there's this like image that most people might think of when they think like Daytona Beach, which is like this squeaky clean, like Florida paradise type thing. But really when you go there, it's not like you imagine. A lot of the times, like, there's a lot of glass on the sand. Things are just like, they're not as clean. It's a lot more grimy.
Yeah.
And with that thought in mind, amongst a lot of other things, it really reminded me of kind of a lot of what this album feels like, or what we felt like. So I think we have this, we even do have this image. I have this image sometimes that I might, post my best photos on Instagram, and I want to feel good about them. But the truth is, like, behind the scenes, like, if you were to look closer, you can see like some things going on. And I think we all have that. Yeah. So I think the sentiment of Daytona Bleach is like, something squeaky clean and in terms of music maybe, and then something really kind of dirty and mushing it together and be like, this is reality.
Young and adulterated, life is R-rated, love equals sex.
I really like the song Out With the Old that we're spinning right now. Jordan, you had said that it's an anthem for the disenfranchised. Right. No, I saw that quote that was sent to me, and it's cool, and it's especially when I look at the lyrics. I'm one of those guys that I sometimes tend to overanalyze things. That's sort of the geek in me. Even the very first line that you sing, Sally, young and adulterated, right? And it's you know, you hear young adult, you hear the term young adult, but like the term adulterated almost seems like something that's been tainted or something that's you know, already, well, altered kind of thing. So, or spoiled, I guess. So 2 questions. Am I way off in my interpretation in that? Like, am I overanalyzing that?
I think that's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
We love the overanalyzation. Honestly, keep going. We're down.
Yeah, we try to leave so many little hidden gems in the lyrics for people, and we're always like, I wonder if anyone's reading these. Like, does anyone know this is in there? So it's nice to know you're out there.
Yeah.
At least we know Brian's paying attention. Perfect.
I would be one of those guys that does like the geeky YouTube breakdowns of like, okay, let's go over this.
Dude, I want to read your book report. I want to read your book report on Daytona Bleach once it's out, man. You got to send it our way.
So then my other question then is, when you might have written this song, is this something that you noticed more so during the last 11 plus months of the pandemic? Like, do you see a lot more entitlement and a lot more of that sort of adulterated attitude floating around with people? Or
I think the song itself on the whole definitely started becoming even more meaningful to all of us as time went on, and it's definitely really relevant, and I'm glad it came out when it did, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like with the rest of the album, like we started recording it before the pandemic, and then we were finishing it as the pandemic was like starting.
Right.
So it's sort of like the songs got touched by sort of both sides of our realities, you know? So we like a lot of them were conceived beforehand and then finished afterwards. So it holds these pieces of like things we were feeling before, and then we get to see those same feelings reflected through this new experience, and they take on a whole different meaning. So it's actually been really interesting just as people, you know, creative people making art, to like watch that happen, just as like where we were in the process when this sort of hit us. It gave us like a weird experience.
It's very interesting because it does, like, so if you've written it, say if you've written it and you had these thoughts before the pandemic started, it's almost as if the pandemic reinforced that. It was like, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about in this song. Right? Totally.
It deepened the meaning of a lot of these songs for us.
Like fine wine a little bit, like especially that one. I think we meant what we had to say, but as time went by and what's going on, it was just like this became one of the most important songs to us to put out because of the message that it had.
Mm-hmm. Am I correct in thinking there's 7 tracks on this next album on Daytona Bleach? So I've heard 3 of them on the radio, All or Nothing, Really Want to Let You Down, and Out With the Old. Can you describe a few of the other tracks that we're going to be expecting to hear?
So we put out Fake Friends, but that wasn't a radio single, and that's one we love. So the ones you haven't heard are, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at it,
yeah.
Over My Head, which is one of my favorite songs on the album. So it's not out yet.
It was actually the first, our first foray into writing with Germans. Our team will sometimes connect us with these people, especially now because there have been so many Zoom co-writes. There's like these guys out of Germany that they're like, you should write with them. And every time we do, we're like, these songs are great. We love the Germans. Like, awesome. So that was the first one.
Yeah, so that was interesting. And then the other one is I Don't Think About You. And that one was also really special to us. I know that I think Jordan brought it being like, this is a song like, I'm thinking of you in mind, Sally, when you were writing it. And I was like, yes, like so for it. So I think that they all come together really nicely. And we're excited because it's going to be on vinyl, which we've never had vinyl before. So we really were meticulous about like placing each song and like why it would be there. Yeah. So I hope that you listen to it consecutively. Listen to it on shuffle too.
We can't forget He Said, She Said though, because that's going to be like.
Okay, my bad. Literally, I said Over My Head's my favorite. I love it. No, He Said, She Said is legitimately my favorite one. We wrote it and then brought it into the studio as the most unfinished song. So I love it because we went in kind of just like free for all, like we'll see what happens. And it just ended up being my favorite, like just being produced so lightly and having to come up with like stuff on the spot. It was really fun.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we're in that zone right now. It's funny because I feel what you're feeling, Si. Like we made the video for this track and we've been working because it's sort of like when you put something out on Spotify, when the album drops, you can kind of tell them like, we'll focus on this one. Like this is sort of like the one. And like of the batch of remaining songs. So because we've been putting so much work into it, and like in my mind, it's like already out. Like then I find out like, oh yeah, like nobody's heard this one yet. It's like still away off in the distance. Like to me, I'm like, oh, don't you already know? So it's easy to forget.
You'd mentioned a couple times about your writing processes and a lot of writing sessions on Zoom. Is there like a huge difference? Do you prefer one over the other, kind of writing in person, or I guess you have access to more people?
Yeah,
that's a huge one. Being able to just schedule a session with someone in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when could you ever do that? He's 6 hours apart, and we worked with someone out in LA too. So I feel like this is something that we would have never thought of doing, and would have thought like that's absurd. How could we ever write music this way?
Yeah.
And now it could be a whole new opportunity for people in the world to collaborate. And
that you see that as something that you're going to continue doing even after we're out of this.
I think so. We probably would, yeah, because we all have home studio setups, so it's kind of nice to stay home sometimes too.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm a huge fan. I think we all have our different styles, and it's fun to have different options. It's like once we can have different options, we can get together. We can do it with instruments. We can do it acoustically, or we can do it this way. And I think it's cool that we have different options because it opens up like different means of creativity. Like me being at home, maybe chilling, having a tea might inspire a different melody than me being at the rehearsal space with the instruments in hand. So I think it just like opens up a door for that, as well as like I just love technology and the fact that we can move forward, and it's only going to get better, probably faster because of this pandemic in a lot of ways. So I just get excited for like what is going to happen in the future and the possibilities, like, and the art you can make and the programs that are going to be available.
Thank you so much for taking the time, guys. I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us, Brian.
Thanks so much.
The Zone at 91.3.